Hey, what's up, YouTube? I'm back. Hey, this is Larry with Advanced Loan Credit Services, your credit expert. Here, we educate, restore, and build your credit. Here, we want to show you how to leverage your good credit, how to grow your credit, how to get you more access to money, and how to use your credit to continue to grow your financial wealth. That's what we do here. So today, I promised you today, I'm going to do a series of classes. Today, you read the thumbnail. We're going to talk about how do you remove collection accounts. This is detailed. This is going to talk from the very start, talk a little bit about collection accounts, what I do for my clients at a credit expert, how do I get collections removed. Remember, there are different strategies to getting collections removed. Not one strategy works for every single person. Every person has a different credit report. Every person is dealing with a different collection agency. They have different circumstances. So remember, one strategy doesn't do it all, right? So you want to deal with somebody that have multiple strategies that can use to get those collections removed. And there are multiple strategies out there. So anybody that's going to help you get collections, ask them. You know, I'm real with y'all. I keep it real with y'all for real. Ask them, what are the strategies that you're going to use to see if it works, right? If their only strategy is contacting the credit bureaus, then there's a good chance that it may not work. So what are they going to do next? So we want to have multiple strategies. I'm going to give you multiple strategies, and I'm going to explain to you why these strategies, you want to use them, when you want to use them, why you want to use them. There's multiple strategies. There's multiple reasons. And when if I'm dealing with clients, I go over all these reasons with them so they can understand the entire process when going through that. Remember, we get ourselves, I've been there, we get ourselves in these situations. You know, don't let anybody just tell you, even though I'm a credit repair expert, I just can't write a letter and just get everything off your credit reports. If I was that, I'd be walking around here like Bill Gates. But that's not the truth. The truth is there are some things that are reporting accurate on your credit report that may be very difficult to get off. And all creditors sign an agreement saying that they will report accurate information. So real people that understand credit, real credit experts will tell you, I can dispute inaccurate information to get off your credit report. That's what we look for. That's what we challenge. All the inaccurate information that is being placed. And it's a lot being placed on your credit report. That's our job to figure out what's reported inaccurate and getting it off. That's why you have to have multiple strategies. But anyway, let's keep it going. First thing I want to say for all my new subscribers, hey, thank you. Thank you for coming to the channel. Please hit the like so we can share this channel, continue to grow this channel, continue to give good content, good information to help people grow and to help people improve their credit. I tell y'all over and over again on every video, your heartbeat is like your credit. If you don't take care of it, you will crash. So does it make a difference how much money you make? I promise you, the more you make, the more you're going to be giving to somebody else because you're going to spend more money. You're going to use credit. You're going to pay higher interest, and you limit yourself to invest back in yourself. If you don't have good credit, you can't open a business because at some point they're going to run your credit on trying to get some business credit, right? They're going to check your social security number. So you can't open a business if you don't take care of your credit. You can't buy a house if you don't take care of your credit. Buying a house is an important investment. It's always been an important investment. It may be dips in their real estate, but buying a house has always been a great investment. It is like a bank. You're paying down the principal on there. If you never need to go back, take out a small loan against your house, you'll be able to do that. So credit is linked to so many different things. And if you ignore it, all you're doing is punishing yourself. And as you get older, for y'all young people, as you get older and you just don't care about it today, it's going to hit you when you get older and you're going to be like, man, my bank account ain't look right. I don't have no money saved. I ain't got no money for retirement. And then now you got to be doubling up everything. Start today. Y'all young people, start today. Start investing today. And I told you on my last video, I'm going to start showing you my portfolio that I started investing because I said, man, I got to keep moving. So even as I continue to grow and build on my business, on my own personal credit, on my business credit, growing other areas of my financial wealth, it's continue to grow and expand. And I'm going to continue expanding. I'm going to take y'all along with me to see my expansion and what I'm doing, because I want to carry y'all with me and I want to show y'all I could be done. You can start from nothing and grow into being everything. So let's get into this class. This class is on how to remove collections. First thing we're going to do, we're going to talk about collections. There are different type of collections. You have medical debt collections, and then you have every other collection, revolving accounts, credit cards, installment loans you defaulted on. What happens with a collection? So what happens is a creditor has charged off this account. They no longer want it. They wrote it off on their taxes. They got something back. They wrote it off and got something back. And then they say, we don't want this debt. We're just going to sell it off. And these collection companies call these different institutions, if it's Chase Bank, Wells Fargo, Allied, Credit One, Capital One, Citibank. They call all these financial institutions, say, hey, do you have any debt that you want to let go? They buy this debt from those financial institutions for pennies on the dollar. So say they buy $1 million worth of debt, and then maybe they only paid them maybe $75,000, maybe $100,000 on all the debt. Pennies on the dollar. Okay. And after that, what happens then in the debt collection companies, right, say, okay, we are in charge of this debt and we're going to go after the consumer who had this debt. Now, what's the problem with debt collection that a lot of consumers don't understand is, let's go. We're going to talk about point one. Point one is that you didn't sign a contract with the collection agency. And the collection agency purchased that debt for little to nothing. Now, the collection agency is trying to tell you that you owe them the full amount that they didn't even pay the full amount for. They bought pennies on the dollar and they want you to pay the full amount. So you ask, well, how do you get these off? The weaknesses of collection agencies is when they go to these original creditors and buy for that little bit amount, the original creditors in most cases doesn't give them all the information. They don't give them the contract, the original contract. They don't give them every single statement that you had. There's a lot of different things that are missing. And when collection agency purchase a debt, there is something called a purchase agreement and a bill of sale. So it's certain things you don't want to ask for. It's certain things you do want to ask for, and we'll talk about it. And then I'll tell you why it's important. So that's a little bit about the collection agencies. So you got to understand what is their weaknesses and how do you challenge them to let them know you understand the process, what they legally are supposed to have and not. So these are the things that you need to understand about collection agencies and how to deal with collection agency. You have people out on here on YouTube telling you don't pay debt collectors. Okay, I tell my clients, well, I heard you don't pay debt collectors. Then I always ask them this question. So what do you do? Because it's on your credit report. Are they telling you how to get it off? The important thing about credit is to remove any negative information. That's what it's all about. Any negative information, no matter how new or old, it is an indicator that you have defaulted or you have a negative stamp on your credit report. Any negative stamp is going to draw. You won't have the best credit score. I don't care how old it is. It may not impact it as much in the 7th year than it does in the 1st year, but it's still an indicator. It's still, if somebody pulls your credit, they're going to see that you defaulted. So that may cause them to say, they defaulted 6 years ago, so They're not eligible for the 0% financing, but they're eligible for the 6.9% financing. It's a big difference depending on the amount of money that you're trying to borrow. That's a big difference in interest rate. So the object is you want to get every single thing that's negative off your credit report. What they don't know, don't hurt them. So that's the whole point about it. So you always want to get collections removed off your credit report. Never pay. When I tell clients, never pay a debt collector if it's not going to get removed, because I'm not going to pay you and you still going to leave it on my credit report and damage my credit and cause me to have to pay higher interest. Now you want to get paid. Let's come to an agreement. I can pay you. You remove it off a credit report. You got paid. I move on my way. My credit gets better, right? It's a win-win for both sides if that's the route you have to go. But never pay a debt collector and not have it removed, because it's going to sit on your credit report and you have lost the leverage. Because now there's no leverage. They've received their money and they don't have any reason to remove it off your credit report. Nothing. But if they're trying to get paid, you still have the leverage in your hand to try to get it removed and go ahead and get it wiped out. Sometimes it's in your best interest to do it, and I'm going to explain that why. Right. So the first thing, what I do different than a lot of people, I don't just send validation letters in. A lot of people say validate the debt, validate the debt. Yes, you're validating the debt, but I don't send a validation letter in. So all these debt buyers, Midland Funding, LVNV, Portfolio Recovery, Calvary, there's tons of them out there. They're debt buyers. They buy debt. And there's a ton of little ones out there that buy debt. The objective is they have to own the debt. They have to own it, meaning they have to purchase it, and then they have to come with particular paperwork to show that they legally have owned it, and they can prove that they know everything about the debt. They legally obtain the debt. They can tell you all about the debt. There's a lot of things that they need to know in a court of law. So that's where it all comes out to. You want to force them to give you the information. Now, anytime a collection agency sends you a copy of a bill, that is not enough in a court of law. And that's where it goes to. And where the debt collection industry has been getting over is a lot of people don't understand that. So they send a validation letter in, and the debt collector sends them a copy of a bill or some bill statement. It could be 2 bill statements, and they don't even match. They got to do 2 different amounts on it, and your name on it with your address. And then for a lot of consumers, they're like, ooh, yep, I did charge that card. Yep, that is my name. Yep, that is. But you got to realize this. You never signed an agreement with them. So that is not enough for them to legally collect a debt from you. They can't do that. So what you have to do is you challenge them on that premises. Do you own the debt? Now, this is where it gets tricky, right? So say you owe, and I'm just telling you what I would do, okay? I'm not giving you any legal information. I am telling you what I would do and what I've learned to do with all my clients, okay? Now, I'm not trying to be a lawyer and tell you take them to court, do this. I'm just going to tell you the information that you need to go to the right people to get the right results. Okay. So in my case, say I have a collection and it's for $300. And then I send in, and we're going to go over this, my affidavit, and I send them the information and they send me a copy of a bill. And I'm going to go over, my next step is I'm going to send them a follow-up saying, this is not enough to explain me the debt. It's not enough to show me that you legally obtained this debt. Boom, boom, boom. But say, because nothing in the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act gives them specific guidance on what they have to send you. It's very vague. Some collection companies understand and they'll send you everything. Some collection companies are going to play dumb because they know about a Fair Debt Collection Practice. They don't have to send it to you. So this is where it comes, where it gets kind of tricky and they put you in like a standstill, what I'm going to do. So this is it. That's why you have to have multiple strategies. So you're like, okay, I owe these people $300. They are not taking it off. You got a choice. You can take them to court and challenge them, but is it worth it at that point? Because a lawyer may cost you $1,000 to $1,200 to represent you against them. If you win, yes, you could countersue, depending on the state you're in. You could countersue because they damage your. But some people don't want to go through all of that, right? And then there's what if they come and say they have the debt? Now you done paid the lawyer the money, and then you turn around and still have to pay the debt. So that's where it starts getting tricky. So I tell my clients $300. There's another strategy. It's called a restrictive endorsement letter. We're still not going to pay them $300, but we're going to send them something and we're going to settle this debt. But we're going to create a contract between me and them. And if they want to cash and get this money, they're going to have to follow these terms and conditions. These are the first two steps. And this is what is important. Now, I'm telling you real information. So please subscribe, because all these classes are going to be real deep classes. They're going to be real classes. The stuff that's going to work. You're going to come back and say, Larry, that worked. I appreciate it. So the first thing we're going to talk about is non-medical debt. So this is an affidavit that I use. It's 2 pages. It is 2 pages. It is very detailed. So I'm just going to read over the couple things that I do for when I start my affidavits. I always say requesting a title or purchase agreement, including a signed agreement and all statements establishing ownership to the validation of this debt. And then I break it down. I say, come now, to whoever the collection company name is, the account, to the undersigned and afferent duty sworn and oath, deposed and say. And then I say, he or she, the officer of the collection company, as the officer/agent of the collection company, he or she has the authority to execute this affidavit on behalf of the collection company name and is bind the company/individual to its provisions. And then the next line after that, I say the collection company name, whoever it is, understand all laws regarding the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act 15 SUSC 1692G, the Fair Credit Billing Act, your state Fair Debt Collection Practice Act, and the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 623, 1681S-3, Section 617, 1681O, and then Section 605 and 605A, 1681C. And then it goes on from there, asking specific questions and letting them know. On the second page, the first page is strictly for the collection company. The second page is a little bit just kind of, you're going to reaffirm some of the stuff that you asked for on the first page. You're going to tell them what's not acceptable. Do not send me this because it's not acceptable and it will not work in a court of law. And then you're going to have your address, account number, the amount. You're going to sign it. You're going to send it certified mail. You can notarize it. I prefer people to notarize it. But if you just don't want to pay the extra money, don't notarize it. But you have to send it off certified mail. When you send it off certified mail, you make a copy. You make a signed copy. You make sure you make that signed copy. You make sure you staple the receipt and the certified mail receipt, the certified mail receipt along with it. You keep it all together. Why do you do that? Because collection companies like to play the games. And then if say they don't respond to your affidavit, they're going to play you dumb because they don't think you know no better, right? So you have all that. So you got proof that they already violated the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. So we covered that. Okay. So what do you have? Now you have a response to them on the second request. This is what the second request letter is. And what it does says failure to send validation of ownership of debt. My second request. And then just go into your name, You sent in an affidavit asking such and such company for proper ownership of debt. This affidavit asked the collector to prove ownership of debt on the account number by providing the complete purchase agreement of the debt. And it goes into other things that they should have done. And then what you do with this letter, you take this letter, you take the signed copy of your other letter that you sent them, you send a copy of the certified mail receipt and a copy of when it got delivered. You go online, you type it in, you print the copy, and then you let them know that they failed to respond to your debt validation by law for the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. Right? Now you start pulling the leverage back to you. Because now you got proof that they didn't even. So if you wanted to say, no, I ain't fooling with these jokers, I'm taking them to court. Now you got proof. You talk, lawyer, I sent in a validation. This is when I sent it. Here goes. They never replied to my validation. Right? So it's all about having leverage and making sure that people understand. Right? When you send this second letter, I'm telling you, they're going to pop to the second letter because now they're going to see, oh, these jokers, they tracking everything. They're tracking everything. And if you notarize it and you did all that information, you sent it off, they received it and they never replied, they never sent it. Now you start catching them. Now you got proof that they're not following the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. So hey, now that's a point where you may say, and if it's a large enough debt, and I didn't cover this when we talked about the $500. Now, if you got a $2,000 debt, I'm challenging them. I'm not just going to pay you $2,000 on, and I didn't ever sign anything. If I got to pay it and I lose the case, so be it. But I'm from Missouri. You got to show me. Because I know how y'all operate, and I know that y'all, I'm going to be mad if I paid y'all the money and y'all didn't even have the proper documents for me to pay y'all. Y'all just suckered me. So that's me. I'm telling people that's what I would do. Everybody have to make their own decisions on what they can do. But for me, I just don't want to be giving people my money that they may not even have the proper documents to get it. So I always say, from 1,500 on up, is where you may have to say, do I want to challenge these jokers to see if they got what they got, or do I want to try to settle it? That's when you have to get in there, and that's just keeping it real with y'all. So those are the 2 steps for just credit card debt, not medical debt. We're going to talk about medical debt in a minute, but you're still going to use this. You're going to use this follow-up. But the affidavit is a little different on medical debt, and we're going to cover some of that. So definitely make sure you follow these steps. And at the end, I have a package that you can buy all these letters at the end, $30. You get all these different letters. I promise you it'll work. And these are all the different strategies I'm going over in this one package. So one doesn't work, I got another one for you. And that the last one gonna work. So, but this is a follow-up. You always want to have a follow-up page anytime you send information to a debt collection company, because they're gonna play the game with you. So you gotta play it back. You know what I mean? Like playing chess. They're gonna play chess with you. If y'all ain't never played chess, they'll learn how to play chess. Make you think. They're gonna make you think, but you just gotta outthink them. So, a consumer lawyer helped me with this. So that's why I came up with all this, and he helped me with this, because I asked all the questions about, well, what about this? Well, what if they don't respond? What should I do? What causes them to have a legal right to collect the debt? I asked all those type of questions. That's really how I came up with the affidavit, and that's why I come up with this follow-up sheet. So that's the follow-up sheet. But now we're going to get into medical debt, because a lot of people have medical debt. So I still use an affidavit, but the affidavit's just a tiny bit different, because now you're dealing with a couple different laws that they need to make sure. And I'm going to tell you some strategies with dealing with medical debt. So let me get you a disclaimer. You got people out there telling you, hey, you got to send me a HIPAA release form to collect this debt. Wrong answer. Those people never read the HIPAA They never read HIPAA, right? HIPAA allows for medical billing. It allows for medical billing. So asking for a HIPAA release form is the wrong answer. I'm telling you right now, don't do that because they're going to laugh at you and you're not going to get no results, right? If you get results because they just don't have any information and it didn't make a difference what you were going to send them, they were going to get rid of it, right? But that's not what you challenge them on. Right. If you think you can look it up, it does allow for billing information only. They can't have any medical. They can't say that you were issued a vitamin C tablet. They can't even do that. All they can do is say you owe this bill. That is it. So let's get into the medical affidavit. Still comes up with kind of the same thing, but what's a little different in this is that you're still trying to validate the debt. You're still going through the, come now, all that other stuff, the collection name account, the original creditor. But things that are a little bit different is that where it stops with the 605 and 605A, 1681C, then it goes into the HIPAA policy, privacy rules. The HIPAA Insurance and Probability Accountability Act, Section 45 CFR, Part 160, 162, 164. The other thing, you're going to still, if they bought this, you still want, the purchase agreement. And then you want to make sure that they have a compliance business associate agreement. They have to have that. When vendors prior to giving out PHI, which is public health information. So you ask all those questions, same thing. Page 2 goes into some more stuff. It's reaffirming it. And you're going to do the same thing that you do. If they don't, you're going to send that second page in. So when you send that stuff in, they know you know what you're talking about. They understand that, hey, this person, and I've had them did not respond to them. That's why I have that second letter, because it's a clear indication they don't have what they're supposed to have, and they know that you're asking specific questions that they know you know what you're talking about, right? So sometimes they don't reply. But that's fine. You ain't got to reply. I got a trick for you. I'm coming. I'm not going to forget about you. I'm about to send something else. I'm going to keep piling this information, and I'm going to keep piling that you're violating the Fair Debt Collection Practice Act. So I'm going to get you off my credit report. May take a little longer, but I'm just piling this information on, right? So you continue to do that. Continue. Don't give up. I don't care if you disputing on your credit report, when you're dealing with collection agencies, don't give up. Don't let them scare you. Don't let them talk noise to you. It is what it is. Just go after them, because every month, every year they damage your credit report. Is every month, every year they set you back financially. You have to have that mindset. So now you ask me, okay, Larry, I had this debt collection. I did all that stuff you told me to do, but they don't want to remove it. Okay, you got this $300. You like, I need to get this thing off. I want to buy a house. This thing is holding my score down. If I could just get these 2 collections off, I'll be good. I'll be golden. Okay, so what you're going to do, the next strategy. That's why I say you have to have multiple strategies. The next strategy you're going to do is called a restrictive endorsement letter. So people say, isn't that the same as pay for deletion? A little bit, but a pay for deletion, they're going to ask you for 100% of the money. They're going to say, yeah, we'll delete it, but you're going to have to pay the whole amount. So if the whole amount is $500, they're going to pay you you got to pay them $500. If the whole amount is $1,000, they're going to want you to pay $1,000. Now, you got to understand how collection agencies work. They know, you got to understand, they pay pennies on the dollar for that, right? So it's how much profit that they want to make. So if you understand that, you say, okay, I'm going to use this restrictive endorsement letter. What this restrictive endorsement letter is, it is a contract between you and the collection agency. And you're going to write out what you expect for them if they take your payment to settle this debt. You're going to do all of that. So you're actually creating a legally binding contract between you and somebody else. You ain't got to be a lawyer to create a binding contract. You can make a binding contract between you and your neighbor. If you write it down and say what's supposed to happen and what's supposed to be given, and they print and sign it, they just entered into an agreement, and then you could use that in a court of law. And I don't have to be a lawyer to tell you that, right? So because it's an understanding between you and whoever the person that took the products or the services that signed that contract. And long as you had that, then you're good. You created a contract. So it's easy to create a contract. So you're going to set a contract. So this is what we call a restrictive endorsement letter. Simple letter. And it's going to just say, it's going to say, this is a good faith attempt to settle and remove from my credit report. That's the main thing you want to do. You want to make sure it gets removed off your credit report, right? So what are you going to do after that? This letter goes into, my name. I'm submitting a check for this amount of money. And on that check, you're going to write certain information. You're going to have it in this letter, and it's going to be a deposit only. It's a deposit only. So what happens? Collection companies are greedy. They all about getting paid. So you just gonna dangle some money in their face. You're gonna say, here go this money. Do you want to take it? Because you may not get paid if you don't take this money. So you dangling it in their face. And because you set the terms and agreement, the day that check hits your bank, and there's certain information on here that you have to write on here and that you have in this letter, and there's certain information that you have to put on your check. So, and when they cash that check, they just agree to the terms and conditions for what you sent to them for them to cash it. And one of the terms and conditions is to have it removed. And you didn't send, so you owed them $300, you sent them $175, not $300. So you dangled that $175 and you say, you take it. If you don't want it, you can send a check back to me. If you don't want it, if you're not going to accept the terms and agreements, you can send it back to me. That's a strategy. So sometimes that we move. Okay, so they took your check. They cashed your check. You out there, bam, I got them. I'm about to get this off. So you went to your credit report and they zeroed it out, but they did not remove it. So now that's where you come with letter 2. And this letter subject, Calvary or any collection company agreed to the terms and conditions for cashing the certain amount to settle the debt and remove it from my credit report. And you go into, you agree to the terms and conditions because you cashed the check, and you need to be removing this off my credit report because you agreed to the terms. And then you let them know by not agreeing, you have violated this contract between me and you. That's all you got to tell them. You ain't got to be telling, I'm going to take you to court, I'm going to sue you. They already know all that. They got legal people in their department. Believe me, collection agencies got legal people. You may have a few to try to challenge you, but you get them on the phone and say, do you really want me to get a lawyer on this contract because you violated this? Do you really want me to do that? Or will you just like to remove it? So those are strategies for collections. Those are powerful strategies for collections, right? It's just not validation. And when you do this, when you do that, you also have to find out what's being reported on your credit report. I can tell you just on experience, Equifax and TransUnion, you challenge the collection agency. So how do you look at your credit report to challenge? First thing on collections, you're going to look down and you're going to look at, okay, what kind of account was it? It was a revolving account. Okay, when was the open date? The open date is when the collection agency received that debt in their office. It is not, let me explain, it is not the first delinquency date. It is not when it was charged off. It is when the collection agency received that debt. That's when it is. It's the time they opened up that debt and received it. Now, after that, you got the balance. And then there's certain things that you can catch, things that they're not supposed to report. They are not supposed to report payment history, payment status, where it says late 120 days, late 60 days. They are not doing that. They are not the original creditor. You never agreed to make payments to them, any of that. So none of that stuff can be reported. So if you see that on your credit report at collection agency, that's an inaccuracy. Get that fixed. They cannot do that. They also can't say past due balance. If you got a collection agency and they reporting a past due balance, that's an inaccuracy. They can't do that. You never entered agreement. You never agreed to pay them any payments. So how could you pay past due? You can't be past due. Look at that. Also look at your activity day. When was the last activity of this count? Challenge all that stuff. So even when you're doing this, I tell anybody when you're challenging people, you're challenging them, you challenge the credit bureau, you do it at the same time. You get one letter, you mail them off both ends at the same time, right? You challenge both at the same time. Confusing. One's trying to contact the other one. They're trying to validate that this is right. Because remember, the collection agency can't validate to the credit bureau unless they validate it. They can't do that. They're not supposed to be doing that. Right? They have to finish their investigation and validations before they report to the credit bureaus. So now you may be causing a confusion between the two. I never do one. I always do both. Always do both. And even if they don't fix it the first time and I send a second letter, I'm sending another letter back to the credit bureau saying, I need a method of verification. Who did you talk to when you verified this? What information and how did you receive this information? I'm going right back to them. I'm sending both off again. I'm challenging them again. So you got to continue to fight on both ends. But not just one side, not just the other side. Never be afraid to deal with collection company. There are some credit repair people. We don't want to deal with collection agency because we don't want to rile them up and think they're going to sue you. Man, get them people off your credit report. If they're going to sue you, they're going to sue you. If they got every single document to sue you, they're going to sue you. So they're going to come after you. I had a client that had a Citibank card. It was a $6,000 Citibank card. And these are the tricks the collection agency do. The collection agency actually sent her a summons to come to court. Larry, what should I do? I got this summons. I say, go to court. Get you a lawyer. I got a lawyer that you can talk to. Get a lawyer. Send them some information. They got a lawyer. You know what happened? The collection agency didn't show up. That $6,000 credit card went bye-bye because they didn't have all the information. But they used those scare tactics. You got to realize they got people that we know how our consumers think. They're scared of court. And because you know you use that credit card, you know that bill is right? So you already think you lost the case to a company you never even signed an agreement to. Just think about that. You're running from somebody a bully that you know if you just turn around, you'll knock them out. But you just scared, so you're just running. So without taking the time and think about it, remember, you never signed an agreement with them, and there's certain things. When it comes to a court of law, they can't walk in with a bill statement and lay it down and say, hey, judge, I got this bill statement and she owed it. That the judge will laugh them out of the courtroom. They can't do that. So I've had multiple clients that go to court and come out winners on that side. But our society, we've been so used to, and we don't understand how debt collection agencies work. We automatically assume we're guilty, so we don't show up. They say 95% of debt collection wins are from default judgments, meaning people just don't show up. They already think they lost. And it's because the right information is not getting out to all of y'all. So listen, powerful. If you got questions, please shoot me a message. Shoot me a message on this class. I mean, there's people that call me I'm telling you, I'm accessible because I'm sincere about what I do. I like what I do. I want to help people. I've been where you at. I know how it's changed my life. Just the understanding of money and credit. Credit got me to really understand money a little more. It got me to understand how to deal with it, how to use it, and how to leverage it for my advantage. So that's why I want to give that back. It's enough out here for all of us. It's enough out here for all of us, but we have to get the knowledge to understand what we're doing. The financial industry will suck you dry if you allow them. They will hold you back if you allow them. So it's all about gaining information. It's all about being true, and I'm being true and real with you. So if you have a question, subscribe to the channel. You know what I mean? Because I'm giving y'all nuggets, and I'm about to give y'all a serious nugget in a few minutes. So just subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up. I'm all about helping you. I promise you. In the description, there's a master collection removal package you can buy, $30. All the stuff that I talked about. When you buy it, anytime I update a letter, or if you have a question, and then you can join the Facebook group that I set up. I'm telling you, it's all about helping y'all. Use the tools that help you. I'm not just giving you something and leaving you off to the side and be like, oh, I'm just running off with your money. It's not like that. So for me, I want to help you. That's why I created that Facebook group. You buy the package. As soon as you buy it, I email you. I get your email. Hey, I appreciate. Don't forget to join this credit repair package. The Facebook group. It's going to ask you certain questions. You get in. I approve you. You got an open format. Hey, Larry, I got this letter. I got a collection agency. What should I do? How do I do? Boom. This is what you should do. If you need another letter, if you need me to pop in another letter for you, boom, I can do all of that because it's all about helping you. This is a different channel. This is a channel truly about like helping you and giving you, not just information, but guidance and help along the process, because everything is just not, everybody's a little different. So I just want to help you. Just want to give you that guidance. But just take the time, think about it. You ain't got to do nothing tonight. Just think about it. Look at your credit report. Look at the collections on there. See, know how to challenge them. Understand the industry and how they operate. Understand that, and you'll be fine. Now I'm gonna give you a gold nugget. So credit. Now just say you want somebody that's not gonna run an inquiry on your credit report, and you need some credit. So we're gonna look at. There's an app that you can download. Listen, there's an app you can download. Do not run an inquiry. And they give you a line of credit, not a credit card, a line of credit up to $1,000. And in that, what you can do is you can go in there, it'll deposit money into your account. And when it's time to take the money, you pay the money back. And it doesn't even pull a hard inquiry. What it does, it connects to your checking account. It does a checking account analysis. Your checking account is in good status. It's going to give you a line of credit. And it's going to report to your credit report. What is it? It's called Grain. Grain. It will be in the description. You go to there. It's in the App Store. And it helps you build your credit without even running a hard inquiry on inquiry. It's all on you based on your checking account. And I'm going to start giving you these nuggets when I give these classes at the end of these classes. So please subscribe. There are a lot of different institutions you can get loans, boom, 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 that don't require hard inquiry, may not do a credit check, but I'm just going to give you a nugget each time. That's a nugget for the day. Check it out. For all y'all to get it done, shoot me a message, say, hey, Larry, bam, I got approved for such and such. So, hey, I'm all about helping you. I'm all about helping you, sincerely about helping you. I feel like this is my calling to give back, to give back, to give back. So, hey, if you got any questions, you know the deal. You know how to get in contact, or you can shoot me a message. My email is lcoleman@advancedloancreditservices.com. I know y'all read the number up there. The number's going to change in a minute because the service I'm using is going out of business. I tell you, man, going out of business. So, but I'm going to put my other number up there. It'll be in the description. If you want to call me, you got to ask me a question. Hey, I got some of y'all people out on the East Coast be calling me real early in the morning. Remember, I'm in California. I'm 3 hours ahead behind y'all East Coast people. So just 'cause it's 9 o'clock in New York, remember it's only 6 o'clock in California. So give me a little time to get up, brush my teeth. I'm bald headed, so I ain't gotta comb my hair. Get all freshed up, then hit me up. But I appreciate all y'all. I do. I really do. I just want to help y'all, man. I'm sincere about helping people, man. Credit is a destroyer, man. It'll keep our kids from being successful. We can't afford to send them to college. We can't change a generation. And that's what it's all about, changing our generation, changing your generation. So, hey, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your hand. If you got any questions or anything I talked about today, don't hesitate. Talk to me. Ask me a question. I'm here for you. I'm really here to help you. And I appreciate the time. I appreciate all that you do. And again, this is Larry with Advanced Loan Credit Services. We educate, restore, and we build your credit. So next class is how to get charge-offs removed off your credit report. Stay tuned for this next class. It's coming. It's going to be some good info. So hang tight. Hang out with me. Please subscribe to my channel. Hit the thumbs up. I appreciate all you do. Thank you. And we out.